Buying a shopping mall sounds like the perfect way to get rich. Thousands of people walk through every day, dozens of stores pay rent, and money seems to arrive without much effort. That picture couldn't be further from reality. Once you own one, you'll discover massive bills, endless responsibilities, and risks hiding behind every storefront. Today, you're stepping into the owner's shoes to uncover what it really takes to run a shopping mall and whether it's actually worth the investment. If any business were yours tomorrow, which one would you choose? Share it in the comments below. Let's say you've decided to make the leap. After years of building wealth, you finally have the chance to buy a shopping mall. It feels like the kind of investment that could set you up for life. After all, people need places to shop, eat, and spend time. What could possibly go wrong? Before you even sign the paperwork, the first surprise hits. Shopping malls aren't cheap. A smaller neighborhood mall might cost tens of millions of dollars, while a large regional mall can easily climb into the hundreds of millions. In some of the busiest cities, the price can push well beyond $1 billion. Very few people, of course, pay that amount in cash. Most purchases involve a mix of personal capital, investors, and large commercial loans. Even before you collect your first dollar, you're already responsible for monthly loan payments that can reach staggering amounts. So what exactly are you buying? Most people assume you're paying for a building filled with stores. In reality, you're purchasing something much bigger. Thousands of square feet of retail space, valuable land, parking lots, utility systems, loading docks, office space, food courts, security infrastructure, and every piece of equipment that keeps the property running day after day. Location makes an even bigger difference. A shopping mall surrounded by growing neighborhoods, busy highways, and strong local businesses is worth far more than an identical building in an area with declining traffic. You're not just buying today's customers, you're buying the potential for tomorrow's customers as well. Responsibilities begin the moment the deal closes. Insurance must be in place before shoppers arrive. Property taxes become your responsibility. Local regulations require regular inspections to ensure elevators, escalators, fire alarms, emergency exits, and electrical systems all meet safety standards. Missing just one requirement can lead to costly fines or even temporary closures. Here's a challenge most people never think about. A shopping mall doesn't magically fill itself with stores. Before opening day, you need businesses willing to lease space inside your property. National brands often negotiate for months before signing a contract. Smaller retailers want favorable rent, flexible lease terms, and confidence that enough customers will visit. Without the right mix of tenants, even the most beautiful mall can struggle from the very beginning. Successful mall owners, for this reason, spend just as much time building relationships as they do managing buildings. Every empty storefront represents money you're not earning, while every signed lease moves you one step closer to covering your enormous costs. The goal isn't simply to fill every space. It's to create a balanced mix of fashion, restaurants, entertainment, and everyday services that encourage people to stay longer and spend more. Opening day finally arrives. The parking lot begins to fill. Families walk through the entrance. Music echoes across polished floors, and cash registers start ringing throughout the building. It certainly looks like the money is pouring in. But here's the twist. Very little of that money actually belongs to you. The real business of owning a shopping mall works very differently, and that's where the economics become far more interesting. The moment your mall opens, people begin spending money everywhere. Someone grabs coffee before work. A family buys new clothes. Kids head straight for the arcade, while others stop for lunch in the food court. Looking around, it seems obvious that every purchase is making you richer. It isn't. When someone buys a pair of shoes, that money belongs to the retailer, not you. The clothing store keeps the sale. The restaurant keeps the meal payment. The electronics shop keeps its profits. Your income comes from something much less obvious. You're in the real estate business. Every store inside your mall pays for the right to operate there. Some tenants pay a fixed monthly rent based on the size and location of their space. A store near the main entrance usually costs far more than one tucked away on an upper level, simply because thousands more shoppers pass by every day. For many larger retailers, rent doesn't stop there. Some lease agreements include what's called percentage rent. Once a store reaches a certain level of sales, you receive an agreed share of the extra revenue. When business is booming, your earnings grow alongside theirs. And suddenly you have a reason to care about every busy weekend and every successful holiday season. Anchor stores work a little differently. These are the department stores or major brands that attract huge crowds, and interestingly, they often pay lower rent than smaller shops. At first, that sounds like a terrible deal, but there's a reason. An anchor store brings thousands of visitors who also shop at dozens of smaller businesses. Those smaller stores gladly pay higher rent because the foot traffic helps them sell more. In many ways, The anchor store acts like the engine pulling the entire mall forward. Rent isn't where your income ends either. Every kiosk in the middle of the walkway pays a leasing fee. Companies rent wall space and digital screens to advertise new products. Seasonal events, promotional displays, and community exhibitions all generate additional income. Even parking can become a significant revenue source in busy locations where spaces are limited. Some malls also earn money from ATM commissions, vending machines, rooftop cell towers, and partnerships with delivery services. Individually, these amounts may seem small. Together, they create steady streams of income that quietly add up throughout the year. By now, you're probably realizing something important. A shopping mall isn't really one business. It's dozens, sometimes hundreds, of separate businesses operating under one roof. Your success depends on helping all of them succeed, because when they thrive, your property becomes more valuable too. If you're enjoying discovering how massive businesses really work behind the scenes, consider subscribing. Every week, we break down another industry that looks simple on the surface but hides fascinating economics underneath. At this point, the future looks incredibly promising. Rent checks keep arriving. New tenants are signing leases. The parking lot stays busy, and shoppers continue flowing through the doors. Everything seems to be working exactly as planned, until the bills begin to arrive. That's when you'll discover why earning millions in revenue doesn't automatically mean you're making millions in profit. The invoices start landing on your desk. At first, they don't seem too intimidating, a maintenance bill here, an insurance payment there. But within weeks, you realize something that almost every first-time mall owner underestimates. This place never stops costing you money. Even when the doors close for the night, the expenses keep piling up. People are usually your biggest cost. A shopping mall needs an entire workforce to operate safely and smoothly. Security guards patrol the property around the clock. Cleaning crews empty trash, mop floors, and keep restrooms spotless before the next wave of shoppers arrives. Maintenance technicians repair broken lights, leaking pipes, damaged doors, and everything else that wears out after thousands of visitors pass through each day. Those salaries alone can add up to millions of dollars every year. The building itself is the next line item. A shopping mall is like a small city under one roof. Massive air conditioning systems must keep hundreds of stores comfortable during summer. Heating systems work nonstop through winter. Escalators and elevators require regular inspections and expensive repairs, while fire suppression systems need constant testing. Emergency lighting, surveillance cameras, and backup generators all demand ongoing maintenance. If one critical system fails, parts of the mall may have to close until it's fixed. Outside, the costs keep coming too. Parking lots develop cracks. Roofs eventually leak. Landscaping needs constant attention. Snow removal becomes essential in colder regions, while hotter climates often require additional cooling equipment to keep outdoor spaces usable. None of these expenses generate revenue. They're simply the price of keeping the business alive. Government costs add another layer. Property taxes on large commercial properties can reach millions of dollars every year. Insurance premiums remain high because you're responsible for protecting shoppers, employees, tenants, and one of the most valuable buildings in the area. One serious accident or natural disaster can create enormous financial losses if your coverage isn't adequate. Vacant stores create a problem you can't always control. When a tenant closes, the rent stops immediately, but your expenses don't. You still pay to maintain the empty space while searching for another business willing to move in. If too many storefronts remain vacant, fewer shoppers visit, which makes the property less attractive to new tenants, creating a cycle that's difficult to break. Competition only makes things harder. Online shopping has changed the retail industry forever, and many customers now order products with a few taps instead of driving to a mall. To stay relevant, modern shopping centers have transformed into entertainment destinations, adding restaurants, movie theaters, gyms, family attractions, and live events. Those upgrades attract visitors, but they also require even more investment. Here's the reality that surprises almost everyone. Your mall might generate hundreds of millions of dollars in annual revenue through tenant sales and lease activity. Yet after paying loans, taxes, payroll, utilities, insurance, maintenance, marketing, repairs, and countless operating expenses, your actual profit can be far smaller than most people imagine. Successful mall owners, for this reason, don't focus on today's rent checks. They think years ahead. Every renovation, every lease agreement, every new restaurant, and every community event is designed to increase the property's long-term value rather than maximize short-term income. So after seeing the enormous investment, the hidden revenue streams, and the relentless expenses, one question remains: is owning a shopping mall actually worth it? So, after everything you've seen, would you still buy a shopping mall? The answer depends on what kind of investor you are. If you're looking for fast money, this probably isn't the business for you. Shopping malls require patience, careful planning, and the ability to manage hundreds of moving parts at the same time. One great month doesn't guarantee a great year, and one unexpected crisis can completely change your financial outlook. Think like a long-term owner, though, and the picture starts to look very different. A well-managed mall can become one of the most valuable assets in an investment portfolio. As the surrounding community grows, the land itself often becomes more valuable. New neighborhoods bring more residents. More residents attract additional businesses. More businesses create stronger demand for retail space. Over time, your property may appreciate significantly while continuing to generate steady rental income. Many shopping malls, in fact, aren't owned by individuals at all. They're owned by real estate investment companies, pension funds, insurance firms, and institutional investors with billions of dollars to invest. These organizations aren't chasing quick profits. They're building assets that can produce reliable income for decades. Even then, success is never guaranteed. Consumer habits change. New competitors appear. Economic downturns reduce spending. Major retailers close locations. Technology continues to reshape the way people shop, and every generation expects something different from a shopping center. Adaptability separates the owners who survive from the ones who don't. Instead of seeing a mall as a collection of stores, they treat it like a living business ecosystem, replacing empty retail space with restaurants, entertainment venues, medical offices, fitness centers, co-working spaces, and community events that give people reasons to visit beyond shopping. One of the biggest lessons in business lives right here. The companies that last aren't always the biggest or the richest. They're usually the ones willing to change before they have to. Looking back, it's easy to understand why so many people misunderstand this industry. From the outside, all you see are busy parking lots, crowded walkways, and shopping bags filled with new purchases. It looks like an effortless money-making machine. Behind the scenes, however, you're managing loans worth millions, negotiating complex lease agreements, maintaining a massive property, solving problems every single day, and making decisions that could affect hundreds of businesses and thousands of employees. Owning a shopping mall isn't about collecting rent. It's about managing one of the most complex commercial ecosystems in the real estate world. And that's what makes it so fascinating. The next time you walk through a shopping mall, you probably won't look at it the same way again. Every storefront, every restaurant, every advertisement, and every visitor represents another small piece of an incredibly complicated economic puzzle. Owning a shopping mall isn't just about collecting rent. It's about managing people, property, risk, and opportunity all at once. If you enjoyed exploring the economics behind this business, subscribe for more deep dives, and tell me in the comments which expensive business or asset we should analyze next.